45 minutes. For the last 2 years, I've not been able to stand that long. 2.5 weeks into wearing the X39 patch, the pastor said, "You can now be seated." It dawned on me at that moment that, my goodness, I've been standing this whole time, didn't realize it.
After starting using the technology for approximately 2 weeks, my pain completely disappeared.
32 years of pain gone in 3 days.
I just love the products. They just help me to feel younger and younger year after year.
Thank God for X39.
My skin become younger, softer, firmer.
It's been really amazing.
I love X39 because it really helped reduce the inflammation in my knee. I can now run again. Woohoo!
Good evening and welcome, everyone. My name is Sun Shower Rose, coming to you from the environs of Sedona, Arizona. Tonight, we're excited to share with you a historic breakthrough in affordable wellness technology that is changing, enhancing, and extending lives. Before we get started, let me ask you a few short but important questions. If you could wave a magical wand, what is the one thing you would like to see changed or enhanced in your health or in the health of someone you love and care for? What would the difference be, or how would that change if the issue could be remedied or even eliminated? Wow, would that be cool? Well, what if there were a way to turn back the biological clock on aging so you could experience energy, health, and vitality, as if years or even decades you became younger? Well, tonight we're going to introduce you to LifeWave's patented and unique X39 therapy patch that, along with property nutrition, provides so many wonderful health benefits and also supports healthy stem cell activity. Did you know that when we're born, we have over 1 billion stem cells? Well, but by the age we're 35, we've lost about 60% of them. And by the age of 60, our stem cells have decreased by 90%. That's why as we get older, we don't heal as fast as we used to, and why our recovery from injury, illness, and even strenuous exercise takes so much longer. Well, what if there were an affordable and natural way to enhance and support stem cell activity? The good news is there is. X39 is a patented, non-transdermal wearable patch that is about the size of a quarter. It's safe, affordable, and incredibly effective. LifeWave is a leading-edge health sciences research and development company that was founded in 2004 by our CEO, David Schmidt. LifeWave's unique and patented products are based on a breakthrough technology that David invented for the U.S. Navy SEALs. David is an extraordinary genius, scientist, and inventor who has over 130 patents and has conducted over 80 clinical studies, providing the efficacy of our breakthrough light energy products. And many more are in the works. So before I introduce our special guest tonight, I want to remind everyone that our products are not designed to diagnose, treat, heal, or cure any disease. They are wellness products designed to support and enhance the miracle of the human body and support its ability to heal itself. And now I'd like to introduce to you our special guest for this evening. Her name is Anne Moreau, and she's a retired nurse, having worked in various areas of nursing, including medical, surgical, drug and alcohol, and mental health. She's been employed in hospitals for 30 years and for 16 years as a school nurse in the state of Maine. She's a certified nutritionist and is the owner of Proactive Health with Ann, LLC, as a nutritionist. She's passionate about making a difference in the health and lives of many and is driven to create a team of people who want to share her vision. And now I'd like to introduce to you Presidential Director in LifeWave, Ann Moreau. How you doing, Ann?
Good. How are you, Sunshower?
Can't hear you. I wonder why.
You're not hearing me?
Yeah, now I can. Thank you.
Okay. How are you? Nice to be here tonight.
Oh, it's so nice to see you and have this nice interchange with you. You know, we've met a couple of times, and I just want you to know, Ann Moreau is not the tallest person in the world, but boy, her personality powerful, and her heart is strong. And she just is building a wonderful, wonderful team in LifeWave. They all love you so much, and I do too.
Thank you for that, Sunshower. You're so sweet to say that.
Well, tell us, how did you end up learning about LifeWave and incorporating our wonderful patches into your practice?
Well, I know Connie Lucas very well. She and I worked in another company, and I was actually looking for something that would be very innovative. I didn't want a Me Too product, and so Connie introduced me to this technology. And when I first started, I thought, okay, so I don't know much about quantum physics, right? I didn't understand this energy piece at all. So for me, it was really about, I had to do the research. I understood acupuncture because I'd worked with an acupuncturist for 3 years. So I had that basic knowledge about how energy flows in the body. And, I like to often tell people that this technology is like a tool in your toolbox. X39, when we think about energy flows everywhere in the body, right? We are energetic beings. We know that flow of energy, and when you think about my being a nurse, I understood that EKGs, which is an electrical impulse, right? You see the waves, right? The heart is beating, that's an electrical impulse. EEGs are brain waves. And so we learn that in chemistry that minerals have a positive and negative charge. So it tells us a lot about that human body. And so understanding this technology took me a little while. And I began to understand how when our electrical flow of energy or our light energy is not balanced, it's blocked by a medical condition, and that medical condition creates that obstruction of flow. And once I understood that this flow of energy would be opened up by utilizing these patches, it really became exciting. But even more exciting was when I tried the patches, because the very first night that I tried them, and we see, I mean, if you were watching the beginning of this program, we saw a lot of people saying they slept more deeply. And that was the very first thing that I noticed, was the very deep sleep. Sleep like when you're a kid, when you're really young and you sleep real deeply. That's the kind of sleep that I got that very first night. And I didn't notice a whole lot more than that because I'm pretty healthy. I eat very well. However, my son had come over and I got to patch him. And like everybody else, we have to have our own experience to increase our belief system, right? And so for me, it was like, okay, I understand the science. I'm beginning to understand how this works, right? Even though I never studied quantum physics, I really began to understand how this worked. And so when my son came over with an injury to his eye, we patched him, and he just hung out with us for 20, 30 minutes. And the pain, the burning, everything cleared up in that amount of time. And that was shocking to me. Listen, I've seen eye injuries. I have over 45 years of nursing, seen a lot of things, and nothing has worked this well and this rapidly. So for me, it was, getting introduced, it was the innovation, it was, experiencing and then, doing the patches with other people and seeing the amazing things that would happen. Miracles were happening all around me. And so it got to be pretty exciting to be part of this whole technology.
I'm curious, and for your son with his eye condition, was it X39 that you used, and where did you place it?
X39 right in the back of his neck. And that was it. I mean, I thought to myself, we'll see if this does work. And I thought, he's going to call me later in the day and it'll probably be better. I didn't expect 20, 30 minutes. I just didn't. I was so shocked. It was really, a great experience.
So you've been wearing X39 in that same spot typically on the C7 right there behind our neck for all this
That's where I
time?
tend to wear it, or 2 fingers below the belly button. Those are the two positions. When they did the clinical study on the patches, they were studied in those two positions. So, when people are when we talk about this, we always talk about those two positions because that is, again, where the studies were done, and we know that we have to identify, when you're doing a clinical study, where those patches will be. But it doesn't mean that these patches don't work anywhere in the body. Wherever you place them in the body, I mean, sometimes I will do something like maybe my hip is bothering me because I overdid, and I'll take that X39 patch and stick it right on my hip and get the great results, within minutes. It's amazing to me how those patches work. So yes, there are 2 locations that are central to the body, but you can put them anywhere, and the infrared heat of your body will activate that particular, when you think about the patch. And I like to remind people, this is a non-transdermal patch. And a lot of people don't know what that means. So I want to just do a little bit of an explanation because in the hospital, I used a lot of transdermal patches. And those patches were things like nicotine patches or hormone patches or fentanyl patches. So those enter the body. It's transdermal. This is non-transdermal. There's nothing that enters. There's no nutrients, there's no supplements, there's no chemicals, there is no herbs, there is nothing in the patch itself. This wearable technology, if you place it on the skin, is activated by the infrared heat of the body. The patch itself has this lattice structure. It's composed of molecules of amino acids, sugars, organic crystals, in all these different shapes. And that activates a peptide. In this case, X39 signals the increase of GHK copper peptide, which in turn activates your own stem cells. So our body emits that light. And when X39 is placed on the body, that low light energy is reflected back in the body, and it signals the brain to, in this case, support the increase of GHK copper peptide. And I really like to remind people that this copper peptide, if you've never heard of it, go to copperpeptidebreakthrough.com and see what that peptide does. It's an amazing peptide. Lauren Picard wrote a book called GHK Copper Peptide. And there's another book that was written, Reverse Aging, by, now I'm drawing a blank on his name. It'll come to me. But those 2 books are the books that really dig into this copper peptide. And you can go on PubMed as well.gov, and you can put in that copper peptide and put any condition and see what comes up. It's amazing. I like to put it in, and if somebody's complaining about lung issues, put in, GHK copper peptide in PubMed in the search engine and put in lung. And then all of a sudden it will pop everything up, all the research that's been done. So, and by the way, the name of the author is John Harmon.
Yep, thanks, Gregory. They are amazing patches. I mean, if you're brand new to this call and you haven't heard of this has got to seem so like weird, unless of course you're kind of like a light worker and you believe in the energies about us, and these definitely, these patches are implementing light energy. That's why it's called photobiomodulation, right? The word photo, light.
Exactly.
And what's even cooler is that the patch doesn't even really need to touch the skin, does it?
It doesn't. My grandkids come over and, one of them tends to have a lot of kids, some of the kids have sensory issues. And so I tend to put the patch right on the clothes because they can't, the skin, it bothers them. And sometimes people will put it on their skin and they might get a little rash from the tape itself, so I tell people just move it, if it's bothering you, or put it on your clothes because it's activated 3 inches away from the skin. It still works really well. And it does so many things. I mean, when you think of the fact that this copper peptide reduces inflammation, it helps with pain management, it helps with wound healing. And we talk about scars, remodeling of scars. A lot of people will tell me, oh my God, I can barely see my scar again. We already talked about better sleep, better energy, so many things. It resets a third of your genome. That's just simply amazing what it does, as well as raises glutathione levels. And I like to talk about glutathione because it's such an important part of what our body does. As we're aging, the level of glutathione can often drop. And glutathione is very important because it is your master antioxidant. And that is what stops cell damage. And so as we get older, cell damage increases, right? Because our glutathione levels are dropping. But this particular patch X39 activates and increases our glutathione levels by 30%. So it's really important because not only does it stop damage, but it also plays a role in detoxification of the body. So you can see that this patch, this one patch, does a whole lot of different things. And that's why we often will say, start with X39 because it is such a powerful patch. It's our miracle patch.
Right, and it's systemic. So as it's been said, as I've heard over the years, and I've been with LifeWave about 4 years now, is that this patch seems to be intuitive and the energy of it goes to where it's needed most in the body. Is that what you've understood too?
Absolutely. So, and that's a really good point, Sunshower, because sometimes, everybody's different and everyone's going to react differently to this patch. I mean, today, I'm going to give you an example. Today, I spoke to a woman and she's a little bit younger than I am. She's 66 and she's got all kinds of conditions. And she was patched with just the X39 and she got instant results. She had back pain and she couldn't believe the difference. She's done a whole lot of different things over the years. She can't work anymore because of it. She uses the patch. She gets this instant result. She can't believe it. She's blown away, right? And then in some cases, we put the patch on and people don't necessarily get the results. I mean, I only got the deep sleep. I didn't notice anything else, right? But we often will say, because we have to remember that the stem cells themselves have an innate intelligence. They're going to go and fix the greatest damage first. So if it's cardiovascular, if it's kidney, if it's your GI tract, if it's other organs, that is where the repair is going to go first. And then the body will go miraculously and fix where there's other damage over time. We always tell people that you need to give it at least a month for every decade of your life, right? It took me 6 months to notice a decline in my blood pressure, which is one of the things that I wanted to see happen. So we're all different and we all need to give this time for it to work, and it will. It absolutely does. The clinical studies show that.
Yeah, consistency is kind of important. Again, there may be some folks here that don't know my major story. I've got lots and lots of stories. I've been around this block a few years, but my most major story is I was born without the sense of smell. And 2 years into it, now I'm consistent. I'm a good student. I wear my X39 every day, 12 to 14 hours, take it off. I actually put it under my cat's bed, which is helping her get younger and younger too. And so 2 years into it, now I can smell, folks. That's like almost shocking.
It is. It's amazing. And I've heard, some amazing stories over the past 3.5 years. Things that we were told in medicine would never get better, and it gets better. It's like, wow. And one of the big stories for me is my mother, who had, a brain injury. And, I've worked with a lot of brain injuries in the past, and it left her with, usually with this kind of brain injury, you end up with weakness on one side of the body. In her case, she was having trouble walking. She was very confused. She was having trouble seeing. She was seeing double. And she kept telling me, my mind is so mixed up. And I patched her and used the it's a HAT protocol. And within 5 hours, all of her symptoms dissipated. They all disappeared. And I was shocked. I mean, I was like, oh my God. I mean, when I've worked as a nurse, what has happened is that for somebody that has this kind of condition, it can take somewhere with 6 weeks, if they even return, some 6 months, and some never gain it back ever again. So it's been pretty amazing to use this technology.
Mm. And are there any contraindications regarding the use of the patches?
Only for those individuals who, I mean, I tell people, if you've got you have a little child who's not talking to you yet, you might want to wait till they're maybe around 2, 3 years old to start patching them, so that they can verbally, tell you what's going on. So, but it's really for everybody from 2 to 100 years old, if you'd like. Everybody can wear them. The only time that there is a concern, because there's never been any clinical studies done on this, is when someone has an organ transplant. Then because they're on suppressive drugs that suppress your immune system, the anti-rejection meds, then we, encourage you to go to your practitioner and check with your practitioner to see if your practitioner will allow you to use the patches. But in general, these patches will support the immune system. It brings that balance back into the body, and that includes the support of that immune system.
Well put. One of the things I like to say, Anne, is, well, what if there's two people lying in the same bed and there's a patch between them? Does the X39 have to go, let's see, I'm going to only work on this person, but not this person? What do you think of that idea?
I think that X39 patch knows exactly what to do. And it will go to where there is the greatest damage first. Just always keep that in mind. It'll always go to the greatest damage. One of the other things that I want to remind people of is that hydration is very important. Drinking water, and you want to drink at least half of your body weight in ounces of water. And, I often recommend that you also use minerals, because minerals will help push that fluid into the cell so that you can obviously use the water you're using. And that's important because energy flows water helps that energy flow in the body. So it's really important that we drink nice, clear water. Sometimes I talk to people who say they're drinking a lot of coffee all day long. And I remind people that, when you're drinking coffee all day long, it's a stimulant, number one. And I shared earlier that I've worked in an acupuncturist office, and we would often get, some of the cops that worked the night beat that came in, and they'd be stringing their night with caffeine all night long. And, they did that for years, and they'd come in and they were in adrenal fatigue because it's a stimulant, and it's not a natural, way of getting energy. And when you do it, you can have a cup of coffee in the morning, no problem, will not affect you at all. But if you are drinking it the whole day and most of the night, obviously, that is going to impact the body, and it will pull minerals from the body. So it's important to understand that nice clean water with mineralized water is really beneficial.
Well put. Well, it's already like 25 after the hour. We could just have this kind of fun for hours, the two of us and your team. I bet you they have a lot of things they have experienced too, right? So would you be open to some questions?
Sure.
Through our audience this evening? So folks, if you're able to raise your hand, we even have a special icon right at the bottom of the screen. If you have a laptop or a desktop, you can see the little hand just like this. Just click that, and then you'll be able to, you can ask a question, or actually, we'd love to get some stories. Is there anybody here that would like to give a testimonial? Please raise your hand. Okay. I can't see the hands. Is there somebody that can help? Oh, I see Trish raised her hand. And a couple of others. So Trish, are you able to unmute and give our story or?
Oh, well, I have lots of stories actually. I've been using the patches for 3 years, and the most remarkable is that, you know, you were saying how the patch works in areas that the body needs it most. And I had some liver spots, so that was giving me an indication that I had some liver problems. And so I'd say like 3 months in, they disappeared off my body. I had like 3 of them. So, and they weren't just, you know, little brown spots. They were about the size of between a dime and a quarter, you know, so yeah. And they were for sure liver spots. So anyways, I'm so grateful for that. And then also I use aloe vera for my skin on the face, and it's just wonderful. It just works so well. I do have a question for you about aloe vera. Can you put it on your face, or is it, I mean, all the brochures, and I was looking at some of the websites and things for you to live younger, and I don't see that you can put it on the face. But, you know, is it something you could target like a brown spot on a cheek or a blemish or something like that?
Great
Or would you?
question, Trish. Yeah, you
Mhm.
certainly can put it on your face. I actually put my aloe vera right on my third eye, right here, right in the middle of my
Oh,
forehead
do
when
you?
I go to bed at night. Yeah,
Oh,
so
perfect.
absolutely. No reason why you can't do that.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, ladies.
Thank
Appreciate
you,
it.
Trish. Thank
Sure.
you.
Yep.
I see Jana Shiloh has her hand up. Can you unmute, Jana?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yep, please speak a little bit louder.
All right, I will. I have an amazing story to share with you. And it'll be interesting to see if anybody had ever seen anything like this. But I caught my thumb in a car door, and it instantly started to turn deep, dark, black purple. And I was in a lot of pain. So I ran for the X39 patch, and I put it on my thumb. And I have to say, I was at that moment, I was a little disappointed because I continued to feel the pain, and it went on for a while. So I kept the X39 on my thumb on and off for 3 days. And then I just decided, well, I'm just going to put it another place that I want it, because I don't think it's doing very much. Well, you know how long it takes for a thumbnail from the bed of the thumb to grow all the way through up. It takes months to get it gone. I was very tired of seeing it. I put some nail polish on, which I don't usually do, and just, you know, kind of forgot about it. Well, I'd like to show you what happened to my thumb. This is the most unusual thing that ever happened. Can you see my thumb right now?
No, we don't.
Camera's not on, Jenna.
Okay, just a minute. Join as a panelist.
Yeah.
I know that you've put the pictures in our Facebook page.
Let me start the video. I didn't have that at the bottom.
Oh, there we go. There's you. That's my sponsor in LifeWave, everybody.
So I started to see that there was actually a little at the bottom at the nail bed. It was starting to look more normal. So anyway, I want to show you this thumb. If you can see it. It's so weird. A part of it just started peeling off, and underneath the nail looked completely normal. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Turn your thumb just a bit more to the camera and raise it up a bit.
Let's see. Let's raise it up. There we go.
Now turn. There you go. Hold it there. Oh, wow.
Is that amazing?
That's just.
So underneath, the nail is completely normal now. It doesn't have any discoloration. There's just a little bit left as it's kind of coming. I don't know. I clean it out every day, and there's less and less of the purple. It's just like half of the nail is totally normal, and under the rest of the nail, it's almost completely normal. I've
I
never
think you
seen
have
anything
twin thumbnails going there.
like-
The
Right.
older and the younger is going to win.
And the younger is winning, and it would have taken forever for this to happen. So
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like this. You know, I've seen a lot of stuff in my life as a homeopath, but I've never seen anything like this. So I just wanted to make sure everybody got a good look at what was actually happening here.
Thank you, Jonna.
You're
That's
welcome.
beautiful.
Okay. Do we
Okay.
have somebody else whose hand is up? Donna.
Hi, everybody. I'm Donna from Orlando, and I had about a year ago, I tripped and fell and bounced my head off the pavement. And the last thing I remember was my head coming up off the pavement. And then I was laying on my left side, and the next thing I remember, I was like 30 feet over laying in the grass, and I have no idea what happened. So it obviously knocked me out. And I got a CT scan, and I didn't have any brain damage, but I did have that concussion and whiplash. And so this pain in the back of my neck was just horrible. And I was going to the chiropractor, and he was adjusting it, and it wasn't doing anything. Well, I did the ice wave. I put it on. I did it the way Karen Can said to do it, and so I put one on the back of my neck, and then I put one on the top of my foot, and it didn't do anything. And so I watched the video a little more. She goes, if it doesn't work, then switch them. And so I switched them, and within 30 seconds, I could turn my head to the, like when I was driving, I would have to turn my whole body around to try to turn and see, you know. And so anyway, now my chiropractic adjustments are holding better and everything. So, and one other quick thing is I've had 2 people in the last week tell me that I look a lot younger than I did a month ago. And I've only been on the patches for a month and a half. So that's my testimony. I'm sticking with it.
Oh, thank you so much, Donna. We have time for a couple more. Is there anybody that wants to tell us a story or ask Anne a question?
There's somebody that asked in the chat. They were asking about minerals, and one of the things you can do is get some Celtic sea salt and put that in your water, and you'll get some minerals from that. So that's one way to do it. There's a lot of different minerals out there, but the company in the future, and I don't know when, but there will be a mineral supplement, a powder, which will have a lot of a variety of minerals in it that we will be able to get and use it morning and night. And it will be powerful because it will really help with activating the stem cell or the GHK copper peptide patch even more. So I can't wait for that to come out. It'll be exciting.
Well, that's our genius CEO, scientist, inventor, David Schmidt, who just keeps coming up with stuff. I mean, where does he get all this information? But he's quite the experimenter, and then he wants to share with us. And thank goodness we're in the kind of business where that's how this is all done, right? It's all done by word of mouth, and now we're in 84 countries. I mean, something's going right here. Would you say, Anne?
Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. And there's more coming. It's exciting that, as David Schmidt, our inventor scientist, continues to invent things. And, he's got more patents than you can imagine. And he's pretty humble. He won't say how much, but we know it's over 130, if not more. So, as he keeps creating things and more coming, I mean, and my understanding is that his work right now is around reverse aging. So it's exciting that is where his focus is.
Absolutely. Well, guess what? We have another hand up. That would be Michelle. Michelle, are you able to, are you unmuted?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
Oh, wonderful. This is such a great call. Thank you, Sunshower and Anne. I loved your description, Anne, of how the patch works. I had never heard that before. That was magnificent, my dear. So here's my share. I have a very dear friend who's been using the patches almost as long as I have. And his brother, he sends patches to his brother. And I think his brother might live in Maine or somewhere in the Northeast. Anyway, he's been a fisherman for most of his life. And he developed liver flukes. That's a nasty parasite, if people don't know. And he was part of a drug trial along with like 10 other subjects for a very expensive pharmaceutical, like thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. But he didn't have to pay it because he was part of this trial. And he continued to use the X39. His brother, my friend, had got him on it for, I think he'd been on it for about a year when he started on this drug. Well, at the end of the trial, he was the only one out of the 12 subjects who did not have excessive scarring of his liver.
Amazing.
I have goosebumps. Yeah, I mean, these liver flukes are nasty, I guess, and they just can really wreak havoc. And yes, the drug killed the flukes, but all these other subjects still had scarring, and this gentleman had none. And he was on the X39.
Beautiful. What a beautiful share, Michelle. Thank you for that. Powerful.
These are the kinds of things we hear week by week we have what we call the miracle call. We have several calls a week. You guys should just tune in. It'll just blow your mind. Hey, I see Sunwolf is here. Sunwolf, you want to ask a question or give us a testimony?
I could ask all kinds of questions. Let's start with the testimony. I've always shared other people's story, as I've never had my own story, but I do have a story for the first time. Being in this holistic health field, I won't tell you how many decades, but here it goes. Sunshine, you're doing a great job, and I just love the way you express, very down to earth. People feel like we're in the living room with you, hearing you share so eloquently, so poignantly. Okay, so for me, I've had an issue with floaters and some big floaters. And you know what's interesting? The other day I'm going and I'm saying, you know what? I don't have any floaters. This is quite incredible. Just to verify the miraculousness of the body when given an opportunity. So now, I mean, the big floaters went down to little floaters. And I'm searching for floaters. Thank you for leaving my body, doing that affirmation. I'm very, you served your purpose. I'm here to release you. Absolutely no floaters. So a few weeks ago, I would say it was 90% gone. Now it's 99%. I mean, it's quite extraordinary to witness this. And what I did was carnosine, and I had at night, on each eye, I had a nice eye mask, and then I mixed it with X39. So the magic of this is not like linear thinking, it's creative thinking and trust. That was my instinct. Go with the carnosine for a few days, go with the X39, listen to my heartbeat. What is it telling me? Those two, in whatever combination you feel, will do the trick. And I love the fact that you mentioned the importance of minerals. And guess what my favorite salt is, Anne? What do you think my favorite salt is? Celtic salt.
There you go.
I drink it. I put it on everything. I love Celtic salt. I just bought a big bag, about a 6-pound bag at Natural Grocers. It's the best. To me, it's the ultimate. So it brings a smile on my face when you mention that, and seeing two lovely ladies sharing important information. So there you go with my floaters. Long gone the floaters.
Thank you so much for that. And you said something very important, and that is that you thought of instinctively where to put them. You really paid attention to your own body, and you thought, okay, this is where I'm going to patch, and this is what I'm going to do. And it's important for us to kind of be connected to our body and to be able to do that. I tell people all the time, play with the patches. Just
I love it.
Put them in different places, because you will begin to learn where it's going to work for you, because it's different for everybody. We don't know where the acupuncture points are blocked. The energy flow is blocked somewhere. And if we can play with these patches, we can find the right location that'll work for us. So thank you.
Amen. Thank you both.
Well, I
There
do
is a
see.
question, Sunshower, and I'd like to address it. Someone is asking
Okay.
about X39 and what might help as well for a virus you might have that's causing long haul issues. And so, we do see a lot of that today, and I talk to a lot of people. And what I really encourage people to do, and I've seen a couple of things work really well. If you're in the middle of having a cough, I often encourage people during the day to use 2 sets of X39, one on each lung point here, and the glutathione right here in the center during the day. Make sure you're drinking the water. And then at night, use the Eon patch, 2, one on each lung point. You remove your X39, your glutathione, and you're going to put an Eon on each lung point. That's during that acute phase. The long-term stuff, I encourage people to use energy enhancers. 2 sets, one set under the feet on kidney 1, and the other set on your lung points.
Yep.
So for those people who don't know this, energy enhancers are a 2-patch system. They have a tan or a brown, some people say brown, some say tan, and a white patch. The white is on the right side, the tan is on the left. And you would place that again under your feet, one set there and one set. And you're also using your X39. Remember that. X39 is a foundation, and it's the long game. So you want to make sure that you're using the X39 and your 2 sets of energy enhancers. So I hope that answers that question.
I'm going to just see one more, and I think we'll wrap it up. What patch or patches would help with glucose control?
Well, always X39, start there, because that's going to kind of rebalance the body. You want to rebalance the body. But the second patch, and Dr. Tom, if he was here tonight, would say SP6. It's his favorite patch. And the reason for that is that SP6, what it helps with is it helps with carb cravings, but it also balances all your hormones. But remember, you have to do your part, right? So it means that you have to look at not ingesting a ton of carbohydrates and sugars. That is what causes the issues, because the pancreas has to work hard to produce more insulin for that load of grains that we're eating today and sugar. So, make sure you do your part, and you're exercising. Exercise is going to help as well balance that blood sugar. All the things that we need to do to stay well, we need to do and do our part. And these patches will work even better doing that.
And on the exercise part, even walking, if exercise, strenuous exercise isn't in your game yet, just try and walk and a little farther every day. And it's been said, and I've noticed it myself, it used to be that I used to have to carry water with me and drink as I'm walking. Not so much anymore, because I am staying well hydrated, and I think the X39 has a big part in that too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, agree.
Well,
Great.
we're very blessed to have you here tonight, and I can't wait to see you in Dallas. I love to be in your presence, and thank you so much for taking time with all of us.
Well, thank you, Sunshower. I really enjoyed chatting with you tonight.
Same to you. Bye. Bye,
Good night,
everybody.
all.